Hello and welcome to another episode of Webinar Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about tech packs, and we've got Belinda Jacobs from Tech Packs Co. who's going to be sharing everything about tech packs and how to make tech packs for different types of products, especially fabric-based products that you are going to be sourcing. Okay, but before we invite Belinda on stage, on screen to the live stream, we also have to select a winner of our question that we asked last week. And for that, we're going to do our Wheel of Names spinny thing. That's always fun. Margaret and Kevin, how are you guys doing? How's your week going so far?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Warm here today. Actually, we've got summer and we're out of lockdown, or sort of.
Sort
Half
of.
out of lockdown.
Are you going out of lockdown tonight?
Tonight, but only partially. Like, we still can't go into anyone's home or anything. We can go to a restaurant. We can go to the shops. We can travel around regional Victoria. We can't go into the capital city, so we can travel around it, but not in it. So it's not too bad. It's better for us than nothing.
Well, I just like to say hi everyone. Hope you're all well. I can play golf again tomorrow.
Yeah, and we have VIS tomorrow, so you're going to be like finishing VIS and then hurry, go for golf, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Awesome. So also, just to tell everyone that we had the Shopify workshop planned this week, but of course that has been postponed because unfortunately the instructor Nicole is in hospital with COVID. So as soon as she's better, we are going to be hosting that workshop. Tickets are still available if you want to sign up. I think Kev is frozen.
Yeah. I lost you too. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, let's keep going over here. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to select the winner of the question that we had asked last week. And the question was, name a production hub in South India where most of the cotton products are produced, especially knitted cotton products such as t-shirts and undergarments, etc. And the correct answer is Tirupur. Tirupur is a city in South India where there are hundreds and thousands of factories that produce knitted cotton garments, especially. There are all types of factories, from small workshop to huge, gigantic factories that produce millions of pieces every month. And there are also a lot of textile mills over there. And the reason Tirupur has developed as a production hub is because there are a lot of cotton farms that grow that are there in Tirupur, because the climate over there is very favorable for cotton production. So let's get started. These are all of the people who gave the correct answer, and we're going to give away one free ticket to our Shopify Mastery Workshop. So let's see who the winner is. And is it Lois? Oh my gosh, it's Lois Wilton. Yay, Lois, congratulations. That is awesome. Lois, are you watching? Are you here? Looks like she's not here. So we've got Lisa watching us from Los Angeles. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Allison, and Shabir from Kashmir. Awesome. So yeah, Lois will reach out to you separately and we'll get you set up with your free ticket. Okay, so let's get started with the show. I'm going to invite Belinda Jacobs on screen. Hi, Belinda. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Hello, Belinda. Good to see you.
Great to see all of you.
Absolutely.
So, Belinda, we've done a webinar with you previously in our group last year, but there are so many new members in our group, and we've been growing, and a lot of people are also nowadays looking at sourcing apparel and all sorts of different types of fabric-based products from India. So we thought it'd be nice to have you back and go over tech packs once again, because it's just so important, especially if people are sourcing textile-based products. So you have some slides to share with us, and then once we're done with the slides, we're also going to be taking questions from the audience. So guys watching, if you have any questions, type them in the comments and Belinda will be answering them. So if you're ready, Belinda, I can share your screen and we'll just get started with the slides.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm ready. Just tell me if I'm sharing my screen correctly.
Yes, we can see your screen now, and over to you.
All good.
Great. Okay, so let's talk about how to simplify your production with a tech pack. My name is Belinda. My company is TechPacks Co. And we provide technical design services to fashion brands, to retailers, and to e-commerce sellers. So we're a small team of 3. And since 2016, we've been helping brands with production. And a quick bit of background about me. I used to work in the fashion industry, and we would produce a lot of stuff out of China, Bangladesh, some things out of India as well. And even though I was working for really big companies, working with really experienced factories, we'd have so many problems with production, things going wrong, too much back and forth. So that is what inspired me to start up my own company, helping brands with this specific problem and helping them, to go smoothly from design through to production. So I don't know if any of you are in production already or have experience manufacturing textile products, but a lot of people do find that they encounter a lot of problems with textile products. It's difficult, as I'm sure you all know, to work with overseas factories who aren't necessarily on your doorstep or aren't necessarily speaking the same language as you. And there are a lot of things, unfortunately, that can go wrong. So let's talk about tech packs and what they are and how they can help you. So what is a tech pack? A tech pack it's also known as a technical packet, which is basically a blueprint of your product. So it documents your design, it documents your materials and the construction and how everything's put together. The idea behind it is that it's everything a factory is going to need to know to be able to construct your product and put it together correctly. So an analogy I like to use for that is IKEA instruction manuals. If you were trying to build, let's say, the Billy bookcase, and you could just see a photo of the end result of what the bookcase looked like, but you had to make it yourself, you probably struggle, and it would take you a long time to put it together. And once it was together, you'd just kind of be guessing if you'd done it right and hoping that it didn't kind of fall down the next day. So what exactly is in a tech pack? Just a real quick preview here of roughly what a tech pack looks like. Obviously, it's going to look different if your product is not a jacket, but just as an example, you'll have technical drawings of your design, and you'll have numbers, arrows, text, explaining what each angle looks like and what's included and what goes where. And most importantly, you'll also have a list of measurements for the product so that your factory can get the sizing right, or they can get the dimensions right for all the different sizes of your product. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what goes into a tech pack. I'm just going to share this link with you so you can download some example tech packs if you really want to see, everything that is included. So you can just go to our website, techpacks.co/examples. But yeah, my 3 top tips for tech packs would be to, first of all, include absolutely everything, all details. The people selling your products, they're probably not going to, have the same cultural background as you. They might not be speaking English. They probably haven't seen all the, competitors' products in your market that are similar. So, just include all of the details, be as detailed as possible. Don't leave things to chance. And then lastly, I would say a picture is worth 1,000 words when it comes to tech packs. Include as many pictures and diagrams as you can, because those can't get lost in translation. Obviously, unlike a bunch of written text, it can easily be mistranslated. So yeah, diagrams and images are your friends. Okay, so that's a really quick intro to what a tech pack is. Now let's talk about the benefits of a tech pack. So tech packs are quite detail oriented, and even experienced designers always say to me that they hate creating tech packs and they take a long time and they're a bit of a pain. So let me tell you why it is worth the time investment to do them before you actually start production. So first of all, you can use them to really cut your development costs. You can save money on sample making, on tooling, on having samples shipped, because your factory can really see upfront exactly what is entailed with your design, and they don't kind of have to start guessing when they start making the samples. You can also use the tech pack for sourcing. So you can send this document anywhere in the world, ask a factory for a price quote, and then you can compare multiple quotes, and it's going to be, apples to apples. You can also use your tech pack for quality control, lower your return rates by producing high quality products. It might not be your #1 priority right now, but if you're trying to build a brand, you really want to be keeping the quality of your products consistent and up there, because returns are really, really expensive, especially if you're an e-commerce seller. Quality control is really, really important. And then accountability is another benefit. Once you have a tech pack, you've got your design in writing, it's in a document that everyone has access to, so all your suppliers and all your team can be on the same page. It should hopefully help you with speed as well. The less time you spend on development, the quicker your speed to market, which means you can start making sales, sooner rather than later, which again is good if you're in a competitive market space like Amazon. Being a few weeks quicker to market can mean that your listing gets to #1 before somebody else. And then another benefit of a tech pack, if you hire a professional to help you with it, is that you can get technical advice on your design. You can have help selecting materials. You can have an expert advise you on construction and things like that. So, it should be helping you make a more cost-effective product and save money in the long run. Communication is another reason as well why a tech pack is really helpful. You'll just minimize misunderstandings and cut down on all this back and forth and questions. And, your factory is going to want to work with you again if you're clear and you're organized and everything is easy for them to understand. And then peace of mind as well. So manufacturing is hard enough already, as I'm sure you all know, and having everything in this document in one place should really just give you peace of mind that you've done the best you can to just keep everything running smoothly. So those are the main benefits. Like I said, the goal with a tech pack is mainly 3 things. You're going to want to use it to cut costs and save time and just simplify and streamline this whole production process. Okay, and then lastly, we will talk about the next steps and how you can actually use your tech pack once you have one. So first of all, step 1 would be to use your tech pack for sourcing, like I mentioned. You can send it to new suppliers along with a breakdown of your order, and they should be able to give you some quotes. Then you're going to use your tech pack again throughout the sampling process. You can use the tech pack as well to document any changes that you might make in the sampling process. And then we have the third thing you would use the tech pack for, which would be using it as a QC tool in production. So you can refer to the tech pack once you're actually in production, and make sure things are being made as they should. Nothing is slipping through the cracks, and that everything looks as it should. And hopefully you will be doing reruns of your production and purchasing the same style again and again. And as you sort of reproduce in future, it's really easy for, you know, the ball to get dropped and things to not be made as they once were in the beginning. So you can continue using the tech pack to just make sure everything is staying on track. So yeah, it's kind of a circular document. You can keep using it as you go around the manufacturing process. And again, here's my link to download the example tech packs if you want to have a more detailed look at everything they contain. And thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions about tech packs or about manufacturing in general, I would be happy to answer, or about manufacturing textile products, I should say.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Belinda. I think that gives a nice overview of what tech packs are. So guys, if you have any questions for Belinda, type them in the comments now, and Belinda will take questions. So I had a couple of questions, and I think Marg and Kevin will also have a few. So I just wanted to ask, first of all, are tech packs only used for fashion products, or can they also be used for other things such as, you know, home decor items, wooden products, or metal products? I mean, is a tech pack used, or is there a different kind of document that's used?
Yeah, so a tech pack is only used for clothing or textile products. So that could be home decor, things that are made from textiles or fabric. I don't know too much about things that are made from other plastics or wood, those kind of materials. You'd probably be best off asking a designer who specifically worked on those types of products. But typically, a tech pack is just a term from the fashion industry.
Right. Can tech packs also be used for furnishings? So cushion covers, and, you know? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So anything that's basically fabric based or made from textiles, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. We've got one question from Lisa. I have several products in the works. For one, I'm designing something that is not currently on the market. It is a garment type thing. I'd like to talk to you about this. I would imagine the tech pack approach would work for anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely use the concept of a design specification. You could apply that to any type of product for sure. But yeah, I would love to help you, and I can send you my details. Oh, Nagla has the link already.
Yeah, so this is one link, Lisa, where you can get information about, there's some templates, and there's some other, there's one free workshop that you're offering as well, which is basically a workshop to start your fashion collection. So that sounds quite interesting. But Lisa, I can also connect you to Belinda separately via email or messenger. I think, you know, that'd be great. I know Lisa.
Okay, great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah. And yeah, Kevin, I think you're muted. Kevin, are you? Yeah, let me unmute. Okay.
I love the idea
Oh, he's
that this has
frozen.
been a process, you know, to replicate anything, to have, you know, drawings and such. I mean, if we build a house, you know, we have to have
Oh, Kevin is
I
frozen
think we're
again.
losing you, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, your
drawings to be
connection is
able
wonky.
It's Thursday. It normally goes wonky on a Wednesday or Thursday, doesn't it? Am I good now?
We've got really gusty
Yes, I think so.
winds here, so that's part of it.
Yeah, you're okay now.
Am I good
No.
now?
No.
Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, I just love the process, you know, of you know, having a technical drawing or a blueprint, and you know, to actually you know, whatever I was going to make anywhere, and this applies to anywhere in the world too, Belinda, wouldn't it? You know, whether I was manufactured in China, Timbuktu, it wouldn't make any difference. It's just a language communication between the you know, the supplier and you, or the factory and you, to make sure that it's 100% per your instructions. So it's fantastic, love it.
Yeah.
So
Belinda, is there like one tech pack fits all, or do you need lots of different, you know, like if I want to do cushions, do I need to get like one tech pack, and then if I want to do, I don't know, a handbag, do I need another, and if I do, you know, a dress, do I need another, or is it like one tech pack that you just adjust to suit your needs? How does that work?
So it's one tech pack per product. So if you were doing a dress, like you said, that would be one. If you were doing cushions, that would be one tech pack. And then if you have variants of that design, like let's say if the cushion came in different sizes or different fabric prints, different colors, those variants would be in the same one tech pack.
So is the template similar for different kinds of products? So let's say a template for a shirt, is that similar to a template that's used for a cushion cover, for example?
Yes and no. So we do have a template that you can buy on the website, and you can use it for any type of product as long as it's a textile product. And you would just, there were probably some sections that you can delete if you're making certain kinds of products, and there are probably other sections that you may fill in with, you know, greater or lesser detail depending on the style that you're doing and what exactly is going on it.
Right. Now, over the course of your career and, you know, working with suppliers in different countries, have you found that sometimes suppliers are unable to read tech packs properly because they are, you know, almost like technical documents? So have you come across a situation where a supplier has misread a tech pack or was not able to understand something? Is that something that people need to be aware of?
Yes, great question. That is definitely something that people should be aware of. It can happen. It's always a kind of, nothing in manufacturing is kind of simple or black and white or, you know, right or wrong. It's always, or it's often, you know, many gray areas. So yeah, you should be prepared to maybe have to clarify things or answer questions, because potentially somebody may not understand your instruction correctly, even if you think you've, you know, explained it in the best possible way that you can. It's just the nature of, you know, doing business with people on the other side of the world, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it's very important for people to, you know, talk to the supplier beforehand, make sure that they've done you know, products based on tech packs previously, and that they specialize in manufacturing textile based products. So I think that yeah, that might happen, especially if the factory is new, or you know, maybe if they have a new merchandiser that's joined the team. That can definitely happen. How do you validate your tech pack before you distribute it? Yeah, that's a great question, Lisa.
Yeah, very interesting question. So when I was talking about the how to use your tech pack section, step 2 would be to request samples from your supplier. So that would really be the best way to kind of validate the information in the tech pack. If your supplier is able to make a correct sample exactly as you wish and everything looks great, then, you know, brilliant. Your tech pack is great, and, you know, you can move to production from there. If you are finding issues in the sampling process, then you have to go back, and either the issue is with the factory and you can, you know, ask them to make something again or make something in a slightly different way, or perhaps the issue is with your tech pack. Go back and have a look at the tech pack and, you know, rework something that's in there or provide a better explanation. But either way, you have a process for ironing out whatever the kink is, and getting another sample made, you know, hopefully the next time correctly.
Okay. We've got a question from Jane. Needing to have a different tech pack for each design, does this mean we need to purchase a new tech pack each time, or can we reuse the templates?
Yeah, so if you buy the template from our website, that's a digital download. So it's a document that you download and save to your computer that you can reuse as many times as you want for as many different things. It's very versatile. But we also do offer services to our clients. So you can come to us and we can create the tech packs for you. And in that case, you would be buying services from us. So, you would, we would redo tech packs for you each time you needed a new style creating. So yeah, we have two different things, services and digital products.
Okay. So Lisa has a follow-up question. So you validate with sort of on-the-job real-life tests?
I guess so. I mean, I
Yeah.
had never thought of it that way, but yeah, you would
Yeah.
start the sampling process. And that's why it's so important to do that process, because you need to verify the tech pack itself and the information that's in there, and you need to verify that the factory can understand it, and they can source the right materials, and they can apply all those construction techniques and things like that.
Right. So I guess another question is, so when you are, sending your tech packs to the supplier, what are some mistakes that you see people making when creating tech packs? I mean, you've surely worked with a lot of different, sellers and seen so many tech packs being sent to suppliers. What are some common mistakes and pitfalls that people need to avoid?
Yeah, definitely the main one that I see all the time is just not including enough detail in general, and not kind of stating the obvious. So even if you think something is really obvious, if you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's, never seen your kinds of products, or they've never seen, maybe they have different fashion where you're manufacturing, maybe they've never seen this type of garment before, don't just assume that it's obvious that, you have to sew the t-shirt down the side, because maybe for some people, they don't wear t-shirts, they wear, things that wrap around, or, they wear more kaftan style garments. So yeah, just be as detailed as you possibly can. That would be kind of the biggest downfall I see people not doing.
Right. So Lisa
So,
is
Belinda,
asking,
what tips would you have for a relative newbie that's starting out but has sort of an abundance of ideas, like people who go online, they've got ideas they want to create, but they lack the know-how of, or the expertise of how to go about things. So have you got any good tips?
Yes, I would say that is maybe more complex than you'd think to manufacture textile products. So if you're doing this for the first time and you're not sure where to start, I would say start with just 1 or 2 products. Keep it really simple. Don't attempt to do 20 different designs all at once, or a whole huge collection with loads of different things. It can be difficult to get things right the first time round. It can be difficult to find a good factory to work with. So just, keep it simple, and just focus on trying to do 1 or 2 things well.
Right.
yeah, that's great advice. Couple of questions from Lisa. So which role at the factory receives and interprets the tech pack for the line managers?
It completely depends on how the factory is set up, and how big or small of a business they are. Some factories are absolutely huge, and they'll have a whole team of people who are interpreters, who will translate whatever language they get into their own language, and instruct other people. Or you may be working with a really small factory, and you might just be speaking directly to the owner. It completely depends on them. There's no standard that I would say I've seen.
So Lisa has another question. When I used to document software, I would have my mom read it, and if she understood it, I knew anyone could. Do you offer a review service? Yeah, that's a great point.
That's a great way to do it. That's a great way to do it. Yeah, I feel like you probably would be better off asking your mum than asking me, because I not know too much, but I mean, I've been doing this for a long enough time that I have probably a different understanding than other people. So it's probably actually a better idea to kind of ask like a layperson, so to speak, and if they can understand it, then hopefully the people who you're working with should be able to understand it too.
But this is a technical document, so I mean, there are, terms, and there are things that lay people would not understand. But that doesn't
Yes.
mean that the supplier who is, experienced in reading these documents will not be able to understand. So I think it's a bit different. I know what Lisa is
That's
trying
true.
to say.
Yes.
It should be simple enough, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, not necessarily every person who sits at a sewing machine will be that technically experienced.
Yeah.
And there are many different people within a factory who will all be, working with your product and doing different, operations to put it together. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of both, really.
Well, Megla, we just recently did remember we broke down the backpack with the backpack into the tech pack, and then we got people to, we talked about it afterwards, what people should highlight, and what did we miss, and it's amazing in people's minds. There's so many different things that like the straps, the stitching, what's at the bottom, is it cardboard, is this, is it that, and the list went on. It was endless, and we sort of I think we had like a 20 minute, half an hour discussion just about a tech pack of a backpack. So it was quite enthralling, wasn't it, Megla?
Yeah, exactly. So first we showed people a backpack, and we asked them to, tell us what specifications they would provide their supplier in a tech pack. And then people were sort of giving their suggestions that, okay, the size of the strap and, all of those things. And then we showed them a real tech pack of the same backpack. And then they were like, oh my God, that's a lot of information. So I think for people who are very new to a product and they're doing it for the first time, sometimes they don't realize what are all of the different things that you need to communicate to the supplier. For example, the distance of the, if there are buttons, for example, the distance of the button from the top, or Kevin, what else was there in that backpack?
I can't remember exactly.
The size of the buckles.
The size of the buckles,
yeah.
The
side stitching, the distance of the zips, of course.
Because there's multiple zips, and the Velcro, some had sort of Velcro sort of fasteners. It just went on. It was fascinating, and people loved it. The thought that there's a lot that goes into it to replicate, that your product gets manufactured in the same exact way all the time. So
exactly,
it's good stuff.
So Belinda, you were saying that you have two different services. One is you offer templates, right? And then you also create tech packs for people. So can you tell us a little bit about that service? What do people need to give to you in order for you to create a tech pack? And what if somebody has no idea of the specifications that are needed to go into the tech pack? I mean, will you just do everything for them, or do they have to give you some basic information?
Yeah, so for us to provide tech pack services for you, we would need a couple of things from you before we can begin. So the first most important thing would be a reference sample that you would send us. So this would be some kind of product that's similar in some way to what you're trying to create, or like a similar shape. And we would use that as a starting point for our conversation, and as a starting point for the measurements and then dimensions that we put in the tech pack. And once we have that, we would do a kickoff call together, And on that call, we would kind of strategize the design, answer all the questions from the client, help advise them on materials and components and construction and things like that. So we would kind of, once we have the concept and the design idea from the clients, we kind of help them form it into a more solid design idea. And then we take that idea and we put the tech pack together ourselves, and we submit it to the client to review at the end.
Okay. So the very first step for somebody who's just starting out is, I guess, to somehow produce a very rough prototype of what they are thinking of, right? So maybe they can work with maybe their local tailor, or they could, if they're into stitching, they could stitch it themselves. Like, how do they come up with a prototype?
Yeah, you could do either of those two options, or you could just buy something off the shelf and, put a bit of tape on it, take some scissors to it, or, whatever it is you need. We just need something that's a rough starting point, basically. It doesn't have to be custom made or, a professionally made sample or anything like that. It's just a starting point for our conversation.
Okay, cool. And then how long does it take you to prepare a tech pack typically?
It takes us about 3 to 4 weeks. And we would do all the tech packs in one go. So if whether you're doing one product or you're doing a collection with a few different products in, we do all the tech packs in one go.
Okay. And then once the tech pack goes to the supplier, would you also help make changes? For example, if the tech pack needs to be validated at the supplier, and if any changes need to be made, so can people come back to you and say that, hey, this is not correct, and can you help make changes?
Yeah, absolutely. So clients can come back to us and we help them make changes. And we also provide everybody with a blank sheet that you can fill in yourself, that's kind of already partially pre-filled. And if you're kind of a bit more experienced, you can fill it in yourself with whatever changes that you need. If they don't want to come back to us for help.
Right. So what are the different main, I guess, sections of a tech pack? So there's the materials, right? Then there's dimensions, colors. What are the key sections in a tech pack?
Yeah, so you've got those three. Then you can also have a section with just general details. So like images and descriptions and arrows. You'd also need a construction section. So that would cover all of the stitching and seams, and basically every single join in your product needs to be called out and specified how it's joined together. What else would we have? Any printing or any decorations that go on the item would be another section. Any labels that are sewn into the product, that's another section. And then you can even include things like packaging and folding and tags as well, if the factory is going to be doing those for you and assembling everything and packaging it. That can all go in the tech pack as well.
Right. Wow, that's so much information. That's so much detail.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I think it's a really good sort of service, and I think it's, for people that are in that sort of, producing those sort of goods or products, it's a great way. I mean, you hear every day people trying to talk to, in China or, even in India, sometimes a miscommunication can sort of happen when you're sort of dealing with the factories. But to have a clear document, and of course, you're not going to send a document until it's all clear anyway. So if you do get something to come back from, or a question, then obviously would I come back to you, Belinda, and say, hey, the factory is just not quite sure on this point. Would I come back to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be no problem. You know, it happens. Sometimes things need to be
of course,
explained and clarified. So yeah, we are happy to answer any questions that they'll have.
Yeah.
It makes you think, though, how people get on who don't have a tech pack, who want something made. Like, how does it all work?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
To me, it's a lot of backwards, forwards, sideways that can take months and months. But to have the documents in the first place, it can sure save a lot of time, would it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big reason to invest that time up front, is that it will kind of pay off as you start going into production and as you start sampling.
Yeah,
right.
And Belinda, if you're going to be really serious about, you know, going and selling things online, products online, then hey, get it right from the beginning. And if you got, you know, we keep telling people, you know, sort of start from A to go to Z, you know, and I think what you're saying about the tech packs is really in the early stages of ABC.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, a
You
lot
know,
of people just jump to D or E and, you know, go straight to the supplier without anything. So, yeah. Okay, I had a question and I just lost it.
Oh, sorry, Megla, did I make you think about something else?
No. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions for Belinda, type them in the comments now, and Belinda will be answering questions for you. So, yeah, I guess my other question is, like, when somebody's starting off and they are sending their, you know, specifications to the supplier, what happens if they don't have a tech pack? I mean, have you come across situations where people have sent a product to manufacture, you know, to the supplier, and without a tech pack? And what sort of, I mean, you covered this a little bit in your presentation as well, that, you know, there may be quality issues and all of that stuff. But what happens, and is it even possible to produce a textile-based product without a tech pack? And what happens if a tech pack is not used?
Yeah, so funnily enough, that's pretty much most often the reason we get hired, is because people are already in production, something's going wrong, and they're kind of in a scramble, and they're like, okay, we definitely need a tech pack now. Like, can you help us fix this? So yeah, it completely depends on your situation and your supplier as to whether they can do something without or they can't. You know, you're always going to have better and faster results if you do use one. It just depends, you know, can you afford to invest in your business? Hopefully you can. And you can, you know, it's pretty easy to see why it is a good investment. But yeah, it's pretty common not to have one. You know, not everybody has heard of the concept before. So yeah, we most often are hired by companies who are already in production, but something is going wrong. You know, whether it's materials or sizing or construction or just, you know, several different things. And they need a tech pack to kind of get back on track again.
Okay, cool. I was hearing some music in the background. Is that coming from one of us? Not me.
No, not from me. No.
Okay, I remembered my
I've
question.
got my windows open because it's very warm, so it could be from outside.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remembered my question. So, do you send the tech pack to your third-party QC company, the inspection company? Do you send the entire tech pack to them, or do you send another document that is sort of a summary of the tech pack and also something that includes guidelines on how much variation is acceptable, right? So what kind of document do you send to a QC company based on the tech pack?
Yeah, so I would send the QC company the whole tech pack.
Okay.
And because all of it's important and necessary to check that it's being followed. But you could also send them what's known as a quality manual, which normally it's only bigger companies that I see having these, but really big companies have these whole huge binders, like books, basically this thick of all these quality rules and regulations that have to be followed. You don't really need that if you're just a small company or you just make a few different products. In the tech pack would be included all the tolerances, which are tolerances are kind of a little measurement that gives you a bit of give and take, so that it's clear that there's an acceptable limit sort of below and above what you've stated that you will accept quality wise. So let's say, you've asked for your zip to be 5 inches long. It would say next to, length 5 inches, that the tolerance for that zip would be, a 5 in, did I say inches or centimeters?
Yeah.
Inches. Yeah. So 5 1/4 inches would be acceptable, and 4 3/4 inches would also be acceptable. And if you were getting a zip length that came in at 4 1/2 inches, that is outside of the tolerance that's already just written into your tech pack. So it would be obvious to, the QC person or whoever else that, that was then going to count as out of tolerance and therefore not acceptable.
Okay, so that's a great point. The QC person needs to know the tolerance, and of course the supplier also needs to know that. So the tolerance levels are also included in the tech pack itself, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Okay. What about fabric? So let's say somebody is starting out and they're not very familiar with all the different types of fabrics and the qualities of the different types of fabrics, and what sort of blends to use, for example, for a particular type of, let's say, garment, what percentage of cotton versus what other material. Do you also give advice on that? Do you, offer people suggestions on what kind of material blends to use for specific products?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were using our tech pack services, that's something we'd discuss on your kickoff call in the beginning. Exactly what material is going to be best for your product. And in the tech pack, we would go down, into the sort of highest level of detail about each material. So, what is the composition of that material going to be? What is the, construction or weave of that material? What is it composed of? What is the thickness of it? All of those things will be mentioned in the tech pack. Okay. There is one thing that's also good to mention that's a bit more difficult with materials. It's less quantitative. You can get different qualities of materials. So so 2 different materials that are the same on paper, you might get a nicer quality one from one supplier than you get from another supplier. So that's just something that you should be aware of and that you should try and watch out for. It's kind of more difficult to convey on paper. But all of the actual specs for the materials will be included in the tech pack.
Right. So if somebody is just starting out, again, we're asking these newbie questions because there are many people in our community who are starting out with products. And so if somebody's just starting out and they have an idea of, let's say, a backpack or a garment or something, but they have no technical knowledge of fabrics and textiles, and how should they do research, and how should they determine what kind of fabrics to use in the first place? I mean, should they talk to the supplier and get advice? Of course, you're going to be giving advice too, but I think even before they come to you, they should have some basic understanding of what materials they want, right? Because otherwise it's going to be difficult for you to start from scratch. Should they do online research or talk to the supplier or talk to, I don't know, textile companies? Or what tips do you have for people who are starting out with no knowledge of fabrics?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it can be difficult to start doing research by contacting suppliers and contacting factories because you don't even know what terminology to use for and ask.
Right.
So I think it's, before you get to that stage, it's easier to just really research your market and look at similar products or, competitors, or just, what else is in your market, and see what those materials are, and just kind of use that to get inspired or just learn what the different words are. And once you have that, then you're kind of armed with the knowledge to take the conversation a bit further if you want to contact, fabric suppliers, or, go to a fabric shop in your local area, or things like that. You at least know sort of what to ask for and different things to look for.
Yeah, awesome. And then I guess you could also look at the labels of different products that are available either online. You can get a sample of a similar product that you want to develop, or maybe just from a store, you could buy a shirt and look at the labels and the fabric composition there. So, but I think the bottom line is you need to do some research yourself before, contacting the supplier, or you need to have some understanding of what material you want to use.
Yeah, it's definitely going to put you on a much better foot if you do have that, and you'll look like you know what you're talking about as well, which is always good.
So Belinda, say for instance, I'm sort of, like really struggling to understand what but I've got a backpack that I've got in mind, but I'm really struggling to do my research and find. If I sent that, I know you sort of do the size of the wheel, but if I sent that backpack to you, would that help in the whole process we're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We could look at the material, and in most cases we can tell what something is by looking at it. Yeah.
And decipher from that there and sort of work together to that. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
A couple of questions from Lisa. Do you recommend sample fabrics to be part of the pack?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would always advocate for putting images of the different materials that you want in the tech pack, as well as the written description of the different items, because it's just always good to have that visual reference as well. And if you wanted to go one step further, you could even send a physical swatch, like a cutout piece of material, to your factory as well, if you wanted them to get a good idea of how it feels, if it's kind of something that's not very standard, or it has a special finish to it. Then you could send them a sample of that fabric as well. Actually send it to them in the post, so that they can feel the quality. You don't have to, but if you're having trouble finding the right materials, or the factory is having trouble sourcing the right materials, then that can be worth the time to do.
Right. And how do you send the tech pack to the supplier? So your template is in Excel, I assume, right?
Yeah, there's a few different file types in there. The template, we've got Excel, PDF, Google Sheets, Adobe Illustrator. But yeah, I would recommend that you save it as a PDF, and then, just email it to them, or share it on, file share online.
Yeah, it's important not to send Excel or Google Sheets, or if you do send a Google Sheet, make sure that it's not editable, because you don't want the supplier to be changing anything, even accidentally.
Yeah.
So a PDF,
100%. Yeah.
Do it in Excel, but send it in a PDF.
Yeah.
And Lisa is saying that's a barrier, the vocabulary, especially of the fabric types.
Yeah.
Yes, totally agree with that. And I think that just comes with experience, right? I mean, you have to just dive into the product and start researching and talking to different suppliers, and just over time it comes to you. Do you also, Belinda, want to talk about your workshop? I just saw it mentioned on your page, the link that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but what exactly is this workshop about, and who is it for, and what can people expect to learn? And it's free, right?
Yeah, we have a free workshop on our online store. It's called Start Your Fashion Collection, and it's really about how to get started making clothing or textile products if you've never done it before. And it's kind of, what should you do for steps 1, 2, and 3 before you jump into kind of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's kind of the first things you can do, and how to get started on that journey. So yeah, we talk a lot about on there about how to start and how to kind of make some initial plans, and yeah, what to do when you're just starting out. But yeah, specifically for clothing and textile products.
Right. So guys, if you go to this link that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Kevin can point to it now. And the top portion of the screen. There it is. There we go. There it is. Yes, you can't miss that. So just type this into your browser, bit.ly/tech-packs in all caps. And then this will take you directly to Belinda's website. You can watch the free workshop. I think it's a webinar. You can watch that, and there are also templates available. And of course, if you want to reach out to Belinda, there's also, I think, a contact form over there that you can fill in and contact Belinda. And of course, if anybody wants, introductions, Lisa, I'll reach out to you separately, get your email address, and do an email introduction to Belinda.
Yeah. Megla, maybe we can add that link to the workshop when we actually approach that subject. That people might be able to find Belinda's free.
Exactly. And I think we're going to add Belinda to our website as well as part of the services, because tech packs are just so important and they're an important part of the entire sourcing process. So we're going to be adding you there as well. Okay, Lisa says what my local shops call something is probably not what a pro calls it. Would you say that's correct? So, I think she's specifically talking about fabric composition, etc.
Yeah, I mean, that does happen sometimes. And it can also happen different countries, even different countries that speak English. Like, for example, I'm from the UK, but our company is based in the US. Different countries, different suppliers use different terminology and names for different things. And, retail fabric stores might use different names than like business fabric suppliers. So it's just kind of something that you learn with experience. There's no like easy way around that, unfortunately.
Exactly. I don't know what happened to Marg and Kevin. Looks like they're having some issues and both of them have dropped off. So I think we're almost done here. Guys, if you have any last questions for Belinda, type them in the comments now and we'll start wrapping up over here. But definitely check out this link that's displayed on your screen now, bit.ly/tech-packs. A lot of great information from Belinda and of course tech pack templates as well. So Belinda, thank you so much for your time today. It was really nice catching up with you, and really appreciate you sharing all of these insights with our audience.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
All right, thanks a lot. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember that we are going to be hosting a VIS show, Virtual India Sourcing Show episode tomorrow at the same time. And if you'd like to join us, then make sure that you are in our Facebook group or you're following us on Facebook or YouTube. We'll also be sending out emails for that. And we are actually interviewing a socks supplier, which is the first socks supplier that we're going to be interviewing on VIS. So that should be very interesting. And you probably need a tech pack for socks as well. So this webinar is very timely. Marg, you're back. You guys are having tech issues.
We are. It is absolutely, our house is nearly blowing over here. It's so windy. It's unbelievable. So I'd say that our internet went out, but it came back up. So yeah, Kev's coming back too, by the way. Yeah, no, the socks manufacturer is fantastic. You've got to
Sorry about that, folks. We've got these big high winds at the moment, and the house is actually shaking.
Oh my gosh.
really windy.
Well, Lisa says, thank you very much. This was extremely helpful. So happy to hear that, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we will see you tomorrow for the VIS episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Belinda.
Thanks so much.